They should never, ever be allowed to bring this decadent, obnoxious, un-African.
It is quite clear from our books that some of these things in LGBTQ are actually outlawed. And therefore, anything associated with those characters cannot be allowed to stand against the morals of the people of Kenya. Whether it's sodomy, whether it's lesbianism, whether it's queerness, whether it is anything that is outward practiced by these characters who say they have human rights. They may have their rights in private, and I'm sorry, I shiver and shudder when I imagine what they do in private, because it is totally repugnant, especially to us Africans.
Ladies and gentlemen, you ain't seen nothing yet. Africans compared to African Americans on the LGBTQ issue, night and day. You would think, I had to go in, I had to dive deep into why 87% of African Americans choose to vote for the LGBTQ. That's what they're voting for when they're voting for Democrats such as Biden and Kamala Harris. They're voting to promote LGBTQ. That's the biggest factor of it all. And 87% of African Americans voted for this. Now, Africa, the country as a whole, is fighting back against America and their woke agenda to bring LGBTQ in their communities. This is lit. The whole thing is lit. Guys, the speeches of the Kenya Parliament, and I'll show more, Nigeria, Cameroon, Uganda, Rwanda, you name it. In Africa, they are not for this. And you would think, Americans think that Africa is predominantly cheery on the gay people. Yay. The acceptance of the gay people and the LGBTQ in that agenda. But it couldn't be more far from the truth than that. Grab a drink. I'm going to watch this with you. Let's go. And be sure to like and comment along the way, too. You're going to be shocked.
I was saying, Honorable Speaker, if there's anything I support President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni on, is on the issue of LGBT. But we must be forthright as a nation to protect our own cultures, our religion, and our beliefs. And we must not allow those countries from the West who believe in those things. Let them believe in whatever they want to believe in, but they must not force us to believe in the things they believe in. They must also respect our culture, our religion, and the things we believe in, but not shove things down our throats, the things we don't believe in. And we want to raise up our children in an upright country, in an upright society, Honorable Speaker, where our children will enjoy to grow the way we grew up, with morals, with good ethics, Honorable Speaker, and in a country that we can all be proud to raise our kids in, Honorable Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know where the world is going to. Mr. Speaker, this is abominable. It's a decadent, it's an obnoxious behavior. Those people are dead as human beings who support such things. In my faith, as a Muslim, the death penalty is what they deserve, people who engage in such things. And I'm proud of that. And I don't care what somebody else feels. The West has never been a moral authority. These are the people who came and enslaved us. And they came and colonized us. And they came and treated us like animals. And now they want to tell us to behave like animals. The next thing that's going to come up...
Honorable Farah Malim, which animals engage in homosexuality?
No, you're right. I'm sorry. I withdraw that bit. In the interest and the respect for the animal kingdom. The animal kingdom never engages in that. But the next thing they're going to tell us is that somebody has a right. A man has a right to marry a woman. They want to tell us that a woman has a right, to marry another man, or a woman has a right to marry a woman. What do two women who are married do? What is there? God has created a man and a woman. It's there in all the Abrahamic scriptures. It's in Islam. It's in Christianity. It's in Judaism. If we allow them to take over our lives, we have allowed them for far too long for them to exploit us and to dehumanize us as human beings. On this, we will say no. If they're going to come up with the travel, restrictions, keep your country, keep your cultures, keep your nonsense to yourselves. And I'm talking to the West in this case here. Capital punishment, Mr. Speaker. They have their own capital punishment on murderers, on other people. Most of them are blacks who have been framed in the US, and we cannot interfere in their laws. They go on killing those people there because they say they committed murders. Here we are telling them this thing is worse than murder for us in our cultures as Africans, as black people, as a... Mr. Speaker, can you give me 1 more minute as a ranking member and a former deputy speaker? It is, in my very humble opinion, that we take charge of our countries. We are independent. We are a sovereign state. We have our cultures. Our cultures do not conflict. African cultures on some of these fundamental issues are the same. It doesn't matter whether you're a Christian or a Muslim or you're a traditionalist. We all have a common culture on such things. It's my opinion, my humble opinion, that we should change that piece of act itself and prescribe capital punishment for people who can be proven to have engaged in these kind of things. When I say capital punishment, Muslims, where there's a serious Islamic states who follow their own scriptures, they carry out capital punishment on them. They do not deserve to live. In my opinion, humble opinion. They should be, yes, indeed. The next thing they're going to come to us is say that one has to be has the right to marry a dog, or one has the right to marry an ape, or anything. Just imagine a day in which somebody will come and say that this goat is my wife, or this what you call ram is my husband, and this is my right of association. I've chosen to have this as a husband, and a woman will come. That is the direction in which they're going. We're not going to be part of that. The earlier we put our foot down, they give us nothing. They only take away things from us. The earlier we put our foot very hard down and say, on this, no, the better. And I commend such countries like the president of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni, the president of Malawi. Of course, Mugabe was one guy who called out these things many years back and told them, these are nations of gays and lesbians, and these are not people that we can talk to. It's something we frown upon. We see them as subhumans. How does a subhuman tell you what to do and how to live in your own lives? So we must be able to stand on our own grounds.
Now, with that said, let me just say this. What just happened in the Senate the other day? Just the other day. What just happened in the Senate room here, hearing room? Gay video. A gay man having gay sex in the Senate room, in the Senate building. That picture right there, I'm not going to show the video. It's graphic, it's ugly, it's disturbing. But it happened in the rooms of the halls of the Capitol of the United States. So what he's saying here is factual. It's true. And they foresaw it coming because a little leaven's a whole lump. But I'll move forward from that. Let's keep going. Let me know what you think.
As a continent, as the leaders, we are the leaders of this country. That should never be allowed. They should never, ever be allowed to bring this decadent, obnoxious, un-African.
It is quite clear from our books that some of these things in LGBTQ are actually outlawed. And therefore, anything associated with those characters cannot be allowed to stand against the morals of the people of Kenya. Whether it's sodomy, whether it's lesbianism, whether it's queerness, whether it is anything that is outward practiced by these characters who say they have human rights. They may have their rights in private, and I'm sorry, I shiver and shudder when I imagine what they do in private, because it is totally repugnant, especially to us Africans. It's also important to condemn those who come with these ideas. And this is why today we celebrate the president of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni. We celebrate the late Robert Mugabe of Uganda. And sometimes it actually appears Idi Amin himself was a saint, because these are the things he was condemning those days, in spite of being incited by these same Europeans and Americans to kill a few Ugandans. Therefore, we as Africans must stand up. We must stand to be counted. We must tell these Europeans and Americans that for the little money they are enticing us with, I'm told they're even offering relief food to Kenyans so that you can legalize things like this one. They have been approaching our organizations, including the Kenya National Human Rights Commission, offering tokens so that they can promote rights of such characters. Thank heavens, these commissions and these organizations have said no to their little tokens. Let them keep their bad habits in Europe, in America. Let us, as Africans, keep what we consider to be morally upright and suitable for our society.
I'm now been made to believe that the former president of USA, Donald Trump, did not support this. Neither is Museveni. Mr. Speaker, I agree with speakers here who are saying we should not just be made slaves because we need funding from the West. Mr. Speaker, this thing of us being told before we are given money from IMF, from World Bank, we must admit, we must accept these laws. This is strange to us. Mr. Speaker, we must tell them, I know they force us GMOs, and we know the reason why they did that. Mr. Speaker, now they are here telling us we should have a man and a man marry each other. Mr. Speaker, I can't imagine myself seeing a man and having a hard-on. Mr. Speaker, that is against African tradition. I must see a woman and feel like that. Mr. Speaker, I am a watcher and I'm a fan of National Geographic, which has documentaries. You see male animals being attracted to females, fighting to death. I have never seen a male animal raising to satisfy itself sexually on another male animal. So what are they telling us, Mr. Speaker? How can we then, 2023, admit the gays and lesbians of this world to rule this country? Mr. Speaker, on this seat where I sit from, I am telling people who I represent from Mavoko, if you see gays and lesbians, tell them to be wary of me, because I'm going to tell you what you are going to do with them.
Because Article 11 is very clear. No same-sex marriage is allowed in this country. No same-sex relationship is allowed in this country. No same-sex penetration is allowed in this country, Mr. Speaker. Or do we need to pass in this House, Mr. Speaker? Because there was, and I don't want to preempt, there is an intention by a member to pass a law, to bring a law into this House, Mr. Speaker, that will illegalize any act of either association, either penetration, either marriage, on all these people who call themselves, I don't know, gay, I don't know, lesbians. Mr. Speaker, I think we will pass that law with Godspeed. And it will be now upon the courts to make a decision whether that passage of that law or whether that law is against the Constitution. We are waiting for that time. We are really waiting, Mr. Speaker. And I don't know if some of these decisions are based on whatever these people want to give to our country. Some of us may not want to be beggars. Some of us may not want to sell our birthright. Some of us may not want to exchange our humanity with money. We want to tell the Supreme Court, read the Constitution, Article 11, same-sex marriage is illegal, same-sex association is illegal, same-sex penetration, Mr. Speaker, is illegal. I thank you very much.
And I want to begin from the onset by saying the purpose of government is to protect the freedom of its people, the dignity of its people, and also the right, the natural right to self-preservation. In that particular third one, we talked about family. Anytime we begin to redefine and weaken the position of family, we are endangering the very right and natural right to self-preservation as a community. The Supreme Court decision used its privilege to allow what has been known in the streets as the tyranny of minority over majority. The whole world and the population of the world, Mr. Speaker, is about 7.9 billion people, out of which 2.4 are Christian, 1.8 are Muslims. You talk about the Hindus, 1.3, Buddhists are 0.6, and the rest can follow. You can tell over 80% of the total population of the world believe in creation. They believe in heterosexual relationship. That is a relationship between a man and a woman. Finally, Mr. Speaker, we want to look at it from the impact of this particular exercise. They want to have the whole world accepting it. All the Caucasians in the world at the moment are facing the danger of being a minority in the world because of population growth, which has dwindled. Now, you can see in the next 30 years or 40, trajectory shows that the population of Europe will be very low, that it will take Africa, which is growing, and Eastern Europe to take up to be able to carry on what they are doing. Is this what they want to import into Africa and the rest of the world to finish their population? We must say no as a matter of survival, as the representative of our people. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
For giving me a chance also to speak on this motion. Mr. Speaker, if I asked you, what do you call this thing in your mother tongue? Do we have it even described in African languages, how it's called? Because it doesn't exist, and it never existed. You remember in the history, the Mwanga of Uganda, those small boys used to be called peches. They used to be used as bets for this kind of thing, and those who used to be there, they used to be called eunuchs. And those are the things that these people want to teach us, Mr. Speaker. I remember once when we went to see the Pope as Catholic members of Parliament, he told us that when we come to Parliament, we should not leave our faith outside Parliament. We should always come in armed with our faith, legislate, remembering that we are Christians, we have our values, we have even our African values. They don't prescribe this kind of behavior. And as parents, Mr. Speaker, we must be very worried because these people are targeting our young people. Because this thing is infiltrating in our colleges, in our higher learning institutions, and this is the thing that they are trying to do. We must guard ourselves, we must protect our culture, we must protect our children, and Mr. Speaker, we must say no to anything that is going to destroy our values.
Even for the essence of just talking about this topic is bad. I have seen Mheshimiwa Ngeno finding it difficult even to pronounce these bad names. So for me, even talking about it is bad. I'm a Muslim by faith, and in the Quranic version, chapter 16, verse 72 says, and Allah has made for you of yourself spouses, and made for you from your spouses sons and daughters and grandchildren. I want to challenge anybody who is pursuing this dream to show us any offspring raised from this association. We can go further and further in terms of provision of chapters in every faith, be it Islamic, be it Christianity, that condemns and illegalizes that kind of association. I don't want even to mention the name. Even for us in Kenya, I believe, as a Muslim, the many problems and challenges we are facing on this earth is because of such kind of vices, which the West intend now to put into our midst. It is time we don't sit on the fence, we don't bury our heads in the sand, we come forward and challenge this vice that wants to be brought to our youth. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
You know, like sodomy, for example, in my culture, is criminal. You don't expect somebody to sleep with another man. There are beautiful girls out there and women. How would you go and sleep and persuade a fellow man? And then you say it is illegal? My good God. We know that happens in Europe. We have been in Europe. We have been to Asia. We have been in whatever. But that kind of behavior, even in Europe, whoever is saying is right, is not right. So, Mr. Speaker, I do not want us to talk about it because that's importation of culture. Africans are proud of having their own culture. And for us to have this in this country, Mr. Speaker, please spare this country, spare Kenya.
This is not even issue. As Kenyans, we need to listen, to sit down and listen about it, because it's against the law and against the culture and the values of our country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when we go to the Bible, Mr. Speaker, God created man, and he saw it good to create a woman. And I want to say, when you go to when you go in a supermarket, there is exit and there is entrance and exit. And once you try to enter through the exit, it is written, it is prohibited, Mr. Speaker. So I don't see how we can try to use our exit as an entrance, Mr. Speaker. It's against the law, and it's very bad, Mr. Speaker. And those who are trying to use our weak institution to impose everything in this country, Mr. Speaker, we are going against them, and we are not supporting, Mr. Speaker. We are not going to be ruined our culture by the West. We are not going to support them. If they cannot give the donation to Kenyans with this condition, let them not give it to us, Mr. Speaker. We can stay without it, Mr. Speaker, because how can a country like Kenya, a Christian country, indulge in such an act, Mr. Speaker? And I want to urge all the preachers, bishops, church, to stand firm on this issue, Mr. Speaker. We need to condemn it, right, left, center, Mr. Speaker, because we need to take care of our coming generation. We have to take care of our children. We are parents. I'm trying to imagine sitting in a sitting room, watching the TV, such an act. Mr. Speaker, this is against the law. I cannot allow it, Mr. Speaker. So I urge this parliament to stand firm and to make sure this thing is not legalized in our country and is stopped completely. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support Honorable Mwadio for coming up with such a motion. Thank you.
The Honorable Engineer Paul Nzengu, MP for Mwingi North.
To allow the registration of this organization is the beginning of the killing of our society. Because I cannot imagine a society where a woman is marrying a woman and a man is marrying a man, and for that matter, you do not expect any product out of it. I have read from the media that President Museveni has actually put some homosexuals in jail for a known period of time until when they are able to produce children. And I can tell you that that is going to be an eternity. And let us pay taxes for that matter. If we must then run our country, we should not run it using dirty money that is conditioned for us to allow homosexuality and gayship. Thank you.
Really, in life, it is those laws of nature, even when, however educated we are, professions, law, engineering, all these things, what they are studying are the laws of nature by which we live. We cannot defy these laws. Mr. Speaker, just let me just one thing. Have we not even observed the body of a male and the body of a female? They are different. The breasts, as much as we are probably sexualized the breasts, the main thing about it is actually the feeding of the babies. You look at the hips. We all look at ladies when they have big hips. What is it all about? It's a big pelvis that is for easy delivery. So we now want to actually, that is all. God is so smart that what we admire must promote babies.
The only good thing about it is that at that time, the writers considered homosexuality as a disease, as a problem. And when you look at the way this disease has been spreading in the West, I am tempted to borrow the words of Sir Michael Blundell when he said, "So rough a wind." There is a wind, Mr. Speaker, that is blowing, and it is so rough a wind. There is a temptation by one culture to come and dominate other cultures. And as I said, that this so rough a wind that is blowing, if you know what is going on in our schools, if you know what is going on in secrecy in this country, the whole thing about homosexuality is actually on the rise. And we have to be alert as institutions of Kenya. And I want to request the Supreme Court of Kenya to always remember that they are the Supreme Court of the Republic of Kenya. And they must be like us. They must think like us. In the first place, this country, between the Christians and the Muslims, we are 93%. If you might differ a bit on the mathematics, the Christians being 63% and 30% being the Muslims. And each of those dominant religions believe that sex be conducted in accordance with the order of nature. But more important is that we are Africans. And gentlemen and ladies, honorable members, let us not behave like the word values has lost value. There must be value in values. So what do we stand for, we here who are black Africans? It has never been in our nature to behave the way the Supreme Court wants to persuade us to behave. We must stand, if nothing else, tall and strong because of our culture. I don't know myself how it actually works, how this thing called homosexuality works. I know that under the penal code, men are not supposed to have sex with men. I'm surprised, Mr. Speaker, because you are also a lawyer, it does not even think about women having sex with each other. That is not even contemplated. I think it was a very distant idea. So, if we want to survive as Africans and not go through the slippery road that the West has gone through, we have to preserve our culture. The numbers in the West are reducing because they are propagating something, they are promoting something called queer. How do you even promote something called queer? Mr. Speaker, the preservation of our dignity, the preservation of our faiths, the preservation of our religions, and the future of our children demands that we say no to this trend that is being developed.
Honorable Speaker, when was the last time you told your son on how to behave where there is a girl. Honorable Speaker, when was the last time I told my daughter how to behave where there is a boy? We are busy looking for money. We are busy doing our own businesses. We are busy studying and leaving our children to technology, buying them the most expensive phones, and they go to sites that attract them. They go to sites, Honorable Speaker, where they see men marrying men and women marrying women, women kissing women, and men kissing men. And there are people who are enticing these young people, Honorable Speaker, to engage in this kind of activities. Where is the role of the family in socializing our own children? Honorable Speaker, before we castigate the courts, what are we doing as a parliament? And on this matter, we need to come out and educate our children. We need to come out and be there for our children. We need to come out and just tell these people who are encouraging our children into bad manners to get out of Kenya and go back to their countries. I thank you.
We as Africans, we have our African and cultural values, which the Western and the Americans must respect. I'm a Catholic by faith. I know the teachings that homosexual is not allowed. Both the Bible and the Quran pronounce itself that marriage is for a man and a woman. Mr. Speaker, what feelings would I have for another man? This is the cleverest way by the West and the Americans to reduce the population in Africa, and Kenya is a target. Mr. Speaker, there is a conference going on in Belgium, and we have Kenyan delegation. I had the privilege in January, I was in Arizona, through the invitation of the Family Watch International. One of the clauses in the so-called trade is that we should embrace comprehensive sexual education for us to get aid. This is the second colonization by the West. If we have to embrace homosexual for us to get aid, then we don't need it in Kenya. And I'm calling upon our president, who is a Christian and a family man, to address the nation on the issues of LGBTQs. And I'm calling upon all Kenyans, from the political divide or religious divide, we have to come together and condemn these activities. You saw what happened in Kisii. Young children are being asked on how to do homosexual. And these people, they're here. They have penetrated everywhere, all the institutions of this country. And there's a lot of money which is flowing. They have the agents in this country. Mr. Speaker, we should be allowed to practice what is good for us. We should not be dictated by the West, and particularly the Americans. Let them stay with their bad behaviors where they are and leave us. But they should not colonize us or should not give us aid with the conditions. Look at a scenario. If my mom was married to another woman, or my dad was married to another man, could I be here? So, what are they telling us? Even the animals, they're not attracted to a female or a female. So why are they trying our living God? Because God created a man and a woman. So we should condemn these acts, and we should come together. We should not blame anybody, but we should come together and say, no, enough is enough. If it's aid from the West or the US, let them stay with their aid. We don't need it, but let them leave us with African values and Christian values. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, Caroline Ngeleche is a Catholic. And as we all know, we are in the period of Lent.
That we subscribe to. And so this ruling has actually gone against the values, norms, and traditions that we believe in Africa. Mr. Speaker, sir, this ruling is actually giving very bad precedents to this country, because so many other groups are going to come up and it's going to be chaotic in this country. For example, we have these very many groups which believe in fantasies and fetishes. Like, there are those who subscribe in bestiality. They are also going to say they want their right to associate. We have the necrophilias. They are also going to say they want rights to associate. We have pedophiles. They also want rights to associate. So if, Mr. Speaker, is it a coincidence that the First Lady of America was here and 2 days later a ruling was made, and then 1 day later Kenya was promised to receive 16 billion shillings? Is it a coincidence, or is it something that was planned well by the government and the Supreme Court and the Western country where the First Lady came from? That's America.
Wow, huh? Well, now you know. All of them, Africa as a whole, as a country, they are not into it at all, guys. And the West, United States of America, Europe and all that, leave them alone. I'm sure they wouldn't mind. But as far as this goes, I think we need to keep our distance. Let me know what y'all think. Like, subscribe, and thanks again for watching. Love you guys. Bye-bye.